Ready? All right, it is 1:34 on April 20th, and the Oregon Racing Commission is hereby called to order. The first item on our agenda is the meeting agenda. I understand we need to have a amendment to that, Connie.
That is correct. We need to remove.
Do we not have a roll call first? It's the very first thing.
Yes, we need to have a roll call first. I'm sorry. Karen, can you do that?
Okay, so commissioners present are Jan Palmer,
Yes.
Diego Conde,
Here.
Charlie Williamson,
Here,
Margaret Doherty,
Yes.
Okay, we have a quorum. Returning to Chair Williamson's question, the number that we need to have A of number 7 removed. I'm sorry, B of number 7 removed. Let's not make that mistake. 462-120-0040.
and nothing to be added.
No.
Okay. There's no objection. We will make that change. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. The next item on our agenda is the February minutes. We just received those. I guess, does anybody have a chance to take a look at them?
Yes, I did. And I do want to know that they were included in a zip folder that we received about I think a week ago. I just couldn't find them, and they were sent independently a couple hours ago. Having reviewed them, I move for their approval.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is the Executive Director's Report. Connie.
Good afternoon, Chair Williamson and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Connie Nguyen, and I'm the Executive Director of the Oregon Racing Commission. We are now a virtual office. Effective May 1st, 2023, we are remote when there is no live racing. This was a huge undertaking, and a lot of the heavy lifting, both figuratively and literally, was done by Karen Parkman. Thank you, Ms. Parkman. It's really hard to move an office that's been around for 100 years. You wouldn't believe the amount of scanning we did. The legislative session is continuing, and there are 3 bills that directly impact the Oregon Racing Commission. Senate Bill 5535 is our budget bill. Yesterday, Karen and I presented at the Ways and Means work session. There was much interest in our agency and many questions were asked. Although Representative Goldberg had the most, almost all of the members had at least one question. I believe we left the meeting with more support than we had going in. Our budget was advanced to the floor with a due pass recommendation. House Bill 2510-3 would take 0.2% of lottery funds and earmark it for our fair race meets. This bill is in Ways and Means. There's a possibility of a -4 amendment, which would make the language more precise. House Bill 3514-2 would require additional reporting on greyhound racing, as well as making it illegal to wager on greyhound races in the state of Oregon online or at our off-track betting locations. This bill would have a negative fiscal impact on the Oregon Racing Commission, the industry, and Oregon jobs. This bill is now in Ways and Means. There is a rumor of a -3 amendment. I would like to take a moment to thank our Chief Investigator, Eric Shepard. Eric, for all his time and commitment to his position. Eric has tendered his resignation and is off to OSHA. Eric has told me that the only place or people that are hated more than police officers are those that work at OSHA. I'm not quite sure why he's going, but it seems to be quite the promotion, and we're all very excited for him. We will all miss you, Eric. And remember, once you leave the Oregon Racing Commission, you can wager at any of our tracks or off betting locations. Dr. Everman is currently out recovering from a medical event and is apparently really missing work. I assume he's doing much better and will be back with us soon. I have asked Dr. Lombard to assist with some of the union fair meets, and she has kindly agreed. We all miss Dr. Everman and look forward to his return. I want to thank all of our staff who has worked together to ensure that the staffing changes are seamless. This includes, but not limited to, Ms. Rome, our supervisor of paramutuals, who has learned the licensing system to assist in the transition of our chief investigator and provides some overflow support. Ms. Thumb, our administrative assistant and vet tech, who has become lead certified to assist with background checks, and Ms. Pate, who has volunteered to go to Grants Pass if needed to assist Dr. Everman. We are making progress in obtaining a new licensing database for the Oregon Racing Commission. This process is very involved. Making sure we obtain the greatest product, which will last. The new database will have many upgrades, improving efficiency and making the licensing process much more user-friendly for all our licensees. Some of our goals, which appear to be obtainable, will include being able to renew and pay for your license online on our website, look up your license, maintain a digital copy of your license on your smartphone. And these are just a couple of the upgrades. We're very excited about this. Streamlining this process will make for a smooth and effortless experience for all users. There are several other projects going on that are keeping us on our toes, such as a new system for procurement, new security systems, modernization plans, strategic planning, and succession planning. Many of these are being directed by Governor Kotek, and I am pleased to say many of these we were already working on. In addition, we have added new checks and balances for some of our tote functions, which is keeping our presiding steward, Mike Twiggs, quite busy. I'm assuming Mike is not on the call because he was working until 3 o'clock in the morning at the tote. Finally, we look forward to our face-to-face meeting in Grants Pass. Again, thank you to the team for making all the arrangements. And that concludes my report.
Any questions or comments on? Connie, you're working really hard. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is a report from the HRA.
Executive Director Ms. Nguyen, Chair Williamson, and Commissioners. HRA and SORA has completed, signed, and paid for all of their contracts with the Josephine County Fairgrounds. We're happy to report. This in 2023 will, between the two meets, will put 20 days of racing at Grants Pass Downs in this year. So we're happy to be able to do that this year based on what we were able to do last year, only 7 days of racing that SORA was able to do. So a big improvement for the horsemen and horses that are coming to Grants Pass this year. HRA has also bought several pieces of equipment this year for the use and safety of the racetrack. We bought a disc, another water truck. We bought 2 UTVs for the great gate crew. We bought 5 golf carts for staff. We bought a truck for the horse ambulance. We bought a rototiller, and we bought the Peterbilt shower and bunk trailer to house jockeys and grooms as needed. HRA is expecting large crowds this year without being involved in HISA. We've put our dates so that we can have some weekends that will allow larger crowds to be at the racetrack. In doing so, we have contracted with United Tote for 6 more terminals, the man terminals, and then we'll have 20 man terminals total with six self-serving terminals. Starting on Monday, we have 1,000 ton of sand coming. Our weather has finally turned around. We're going to get some sunshine finally without a lot of rainstorms. So we're looking forward to adding that. Steve Wood and our crew is going to start on Sunday, the 23rd, and they'll start prepping the track and getting ready for the sand. And then next week we'll have the track completed in order for us to start racing on May 1st. The OTBs are doing well. We're on pace for where we were at last year, maybe a little bit above. The other thing that we have done is we're getting geared up for the Kentucky Derby coming up first Saturday in May. So we have spent some money on advertising, and we spent some money on some swag, some giveaways at each OTB, so that we're hoping that we can get some large crowds and enjoy that Kentucky Derby in May. So those are the things we got going on now. We're looking forward to a fantastic race season this year.
Terrific. That's great. Thank you. Any questions or comments? No, keep up the good work.
Thanks.
We're looking forward to getting down there.
Yes, looking forward to seeing all of you.
The next item on our agenda is from the OTOBA.
Good afternoon, Chair Williamson, Director Wynn, and Commissioners. I'm Linnell Fox-Smith. I'm the Executive Director for the Oregon Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association. Thank you for the time this afternoon to address you on just a few items, a few updates as we're coming to the end of this fiscal year here in June and wrapping up our Hub Fund expenditures. I just wanted to update you on a few things. In February, we paid a Breeders Award of $63,090 to 45 breeders covering 88 Oregon breds that competed across the country this last fiscal year. This is the first time we've done a Breeders Award on all earnings for Oregon breds, and that was because we did not have the commercial meet, and the board felt it was important to get money to the breeders to incentivize them to breed some more foals, and hopefully they are out there doing that for 2023. Our remaining Hub funds will be spent on our foal incentives. We're still waiting for some breeders to get their paperwork in. And we'll also be covering the beginning of the summer fair meet. So the first supplements on Union and Grants Pass and the starting bonus. In your packets, you should have a copy of our summer fair incentives. We are incredibly grateful to the Commission for your support through the Hub funds that allows us to continue these vital programs. And we're able to offer them all that we've done before, all of them again this summer. So we're excited about that. The final item is something that I do need your attention on. We're coming up on the end of the fiscal year, and per statute 462-062, the Oregon Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association receives 0.75% of Oregon bred handle in the state of Oregon, and we are required by statute to pay that in the form of an owner's bonus for Oregon breds that compete at the commercial meet or for other purposes that benefit the horsemen and women with the approval of the Racing Commission. Now, due to the fact that there was no commercial meet, our board is requesting approval to pay a bonus based on the 2022 summer fair meet totals. So that is something we would need permission to do, and it would be for this year only, as commercial racing is returning and will be able to follow statute without any problems. So that is the only item I would need your approval on today.
How much money is that?
It won't be determined until the end of June, as we still receive funds. I'm estimating it to be between $90,000 and $100,000 that we receive for the bonus, and then we'll pay that out in proportion to what Oregon Breds earn during the summer fair meets.
Any questions or comments? Linnell? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I just want to make sure that there's no requirement for a written request, and that it is sufficient for you to bring this request at this meeting. Connie, are you aware of any requirement? I'm
I
not.
will-
I
I will
don't-
defer to the AG if there is, otherwise I am not aware of any.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of anything at this
Yeah.
time either.
okay. That being the case, I move for approval of the statutory owner's bonus being paid out according to the 2022 ratios.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Oh.
One thing, I think it would be best when these things are asked for is that they be presented in writing, and then we go forward from there. Just make sure that we have it on a little more of a record other than verbal.
Good point. Do you have any objection with proceeding at this time? This
No.
time? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Linnell.
Right, thank you so much, and I will report the final numbers probably in August when all of the payments have been made. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is discussion and vote on rescheduling the June commission meeting, says here commissioner meeting, from June 16th to June 23rd. Connie, you want to address that?
Sure, Dr. Everman brought up the fact that because of the races that they're having that day and some of the movement, because of the fair meets not happening as they were supposed to in Washington, that the staff and many of the horsemen would be very busy, or they would be racing during our meeting. So unless we had our meeting at some ridiculously early time in the morning, which would mean you coming down a day earlier, it really didn't make sense for us to continue with the 16th. We looked at doing it on the 15th, but there was too many conflicts with the commissioners to be able to do it on the 15th. So we're looking at the 23rd. That's why we proposed that date.
Anybody have any questions or concerns about this?
I just have a question, just because I haven't gone through a face-to-face at a racing venue, but is this something that we would drive down on Friday, have an afternoon meeting, and then go from there and then come back on a Saturday?
I think you come back Saturday or Sunday, but we'd have to get down there in the morning. You might want to leave on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, what is it? It's about 4 hours driving there.
And we can push our meeting back to 2 o'clock as well. We would like everyone to stay the next day for the races, or at least for 1 or 2 of the races before you head back. Just because that's our commercial track and one of our fairs as well.
Will there be races Friday at all?
There's no races on Friday.
Okay,
I also thought that since you are all down there, hopefully everyone's able to make it down. We would use that as an opportunity to go over key performances and do a little bit of a retreat after the commission meeting or before the commission meeting, either way. If we agree on that date.
Any discussion?
I like the idea. I'll move for approval of moving the date from June 16th to June 23rd.
Could we say maybe 2:30, Connie, would that work?
That sounds great. We could do 2:30 and then we could look at doing a brief meeting the next morning as well, perhaps.
Yeah, I like the idea of a retreat sort of thing, because we'll all be there. I know one time we were down there and I think it was Randy set up some kind of a barbecue out in the wilderness with the commission. It was kind of fun. But Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
I'll second if there hasn't been a second.
Oh, thank you very much. All in favor of moving the June meeting to the 23rd at 2:30 in Grants Pass, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Thanks, Connie. That's I think that'll be great.
Yeah, and I just have a conflict on Sunday, guys. I do have an afternoon obligation on that Sunday, so I may have to leave that morning or Saturday night, whichever.
Yeah, I think several folks will leave Saturday too at some point, but we should see the races as much as we can.
Yes, thank you.
The next item on our agenda is discussion and possible direction to staff to open rulemaking proceedings on the A through H, accepting B on the agenda. Do we need a motion to just start the rulemaking, Connie? Or Katrina?
Actually, this is a really good opportunity for Katrina to talk through some of this as well as introduce someone to us. Please.
Great.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for Connie for giving me this opportunity. I am going to, I think, start by introducing someone to you. I have been working with the Racing Commission for a little over 7.5 years, going 8 years. But I also have a lot of other clients, and I have recently found that I quite simply have too much work on my plate. And we have recently, into our section, had a fabulous new attorney join us, who has lots and lots of state agency background. Her name is Kelly Rout, and Kelly is on screen if she can give you a wave there. Kelly's new to DOJ, but she comes to us with an extensive career in public service. She's worked for 18 years, over 18 years, at the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission, and she gained experience there in contested cases and worked on complex policies, and she was the statewide licensing manager, and most recently directed the commission's administrative hearing section. So she comes with experience on both sides of the table, working in the agency and now being an assistant attorney general to the agency. And so I want to introduce Kelly. Kelly is going to be taking over as the assigned counsel for the commission. I am not going away completely. I will be in the background as backup counsel. So if Kelly is ever unable to attend a meeting or is otherwise indisposed or too much work on her plate, you might occasionally see me. But I wanted to introduce Kelly and have you welcome her. And I also wanted to express my very deep thanks to the commission and the commissioners. I very much enjoyed being assigned counsel through all the lumps and bumps that the commission has had to experience over the last few years. I'm sorry we couldn't make for some less of bumps, but it is what it was. And I just want to say thank you very much for all of your work with me. I've really enjoyed working with each and every staff member and each and every commissioner.
Thank you.
With,
Thank you.
Thanks.
you're welcome. You're welcome. With that said, I'd like to move on to the rules. Connie, did you want me to dive into this, or you're going to dive in and I'll
I think we'll probably end up presenting together is what's going to happen for most of these. On the
Sounds
last
good.
one, I'm just going to let you handle the last one. So the first one, entering for official racing, that one, I'm just going to discuss all of these first, and then you could decide how you want to go about on voting for them or proceeding with them. So the first one is enforcing for officials. And on this one, we were primarily, the Stewart had some recommendations on clarifying identification, and the DOJ added some corrections and updates to the rule. Most of it is updates and corrections. And we did have a hearing on that, and we did have one participant, but nothing specifically on this rule came up. The next rule then we get into a series of rules. This next group of rules all came about because of our compensation question. I did some research and looked at other agencies and found that other agencies had a number of these in rules. So I thought, why not just put these in rules so we're not constantly looking for some policy that we can't find and make sure that they stay out. So the first one is commissioner duties. And the legal made some updates to these, which I very much appreciate. The first one just discusses the duties. These are all things I believe that you're aware of anyway. It's just taking it from policy to being in writing. Things like coming to meetings and having a chair and the possibility of having a secretary if you want to add one. The second rule is just saying what the election of the chair and the vice chair and when that occurs. I did notice that there was a typo in there. It said biannual instead of biennial. I thought we should have terms longer than half a year. So I did change it to every other year. The next one is commissioner vacancies. Here's an interesting find that it surprised me that I missed in our statute that our AG found. Apparently, we are supposed to be swearing in our new commissioners when they come on, which we have not in the past done. I believe that's in this one, or it may be in the next one. Yes, that's in this
That
one.
was in this one, yes.
So that's something that we're adding in, which seems to be very important since it's specifically referenced in our statute. I even argued about it with council, and they said, look here. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm wrong. You're right again. All right. Then the one that started all of this is the commission member compensation. Now in statute, our statute says that our commissioners can be compensated. As we know and have discussed before, you have the option of not being compensated, or you can be compensated. And with the new language that came out at the state, there's the option for everyone to be paid at the same level, or for us to only pay the higher level for people who are a certain income. We all agreed at that point, or I believe that the consensus at that point was that we put everybody at the higher level. And in fact, the last director started paying everyone at that rate sometime last year. So you're already receiving that. Our AAG believes that there may need to be some further research on that. So we won't actually file this until we hear back, but do you have anything further on that at this point?
No, we don't. That advice is in progress, and it will be presented to you probably jointly by Kelly and I at a later date.
Okay, so I would like permission to go forward with this rule, provided we have support from our AAG. And then the final one just says that we can have another meeting if we need it. And that's it for those. Then I'm going to turn it over to our representative to discuss the changes from adopting now and what we might do with the last one.
So simply the recommendation for the last one is council and staff would recommend that the commission can table this one item to a future meeting to allow additional review by staff and council.
So basically our recommendation is that we've taken B off. So item number A, C, D, E, F, and G be approved for potential rulemaking subject to any additional finding by the AAG or DOJ, however you want to word it.
But we're not including H.
We
Thank you.
recommend that you table that at this time, Chair Williamson, to let staff and council look at it a little bit more closely before you move forward with it. So it can stay on the list in terms of can staff, if you want to vote on allowing staff to can move forward with considering rulemaking, but we don't have a final thought on how that rulemaking should take place, what needs to be amended and what needs to be completely deleted from the rules. So we want to have additional time to talk about that.
So what if we just have a motion to approve A, C, D, E, F, and G
I think that's the clearest way to go, yes.
to proceed with the rulemaking? Is there a motion?
I move for that, to follow that direction in regards to subsections A, C, D, E, F, G.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed, no. Passes unanimously.
So Chair Williamson, there is one additional tranche of rules that is going to be finished with hearing soon. I expect that you and Ms. Nguyen have already discussed this. The commission, if it has an interest in moving those rules quickly, could schedule a hearing for immediately after the last day of comment and the close of the rule hearing on that. But we didn't want to bring those ones up yet because the rule period for comment is still open. But it was something I raised with Ms. Nguyen and wanted to raise with the commission. If you have interest in scheduling a special meeting to get those faster, that is an option that you have.
So
Chair Williamson, most of those were address changes. I think we're fine waiting.
are you talking about item 8 in the agenda?
No, when we resubmitted the agenda to you with less items on it, we took some off that we just wanted to wait until the full period was over. So those will come back in June.
If there's no objection, let's just leave it alone now, right?
Yep, less meetings.
So is 8 not on the agenda, or do we go on to 8 now?
8 is good, yes. So I'm sorry.
What we would propose for 8 is that the commission adopt as presented items B, C, D, and E, and that for item A, it be adopted with a typo corrected. And I will just find that. I'll let you know what the typo was. I believe it was the spelling of the word steward. It had acquired an extra E. And so we just needed to correct that typo when you adopt it.
Karen, do you have that? Great.
Okay. Do you want to just present what these rules are, Connie?
So all of these are rules that you've seen before and you all approved for us to promulgate some time ago, and they're just all coming to fruition now. Some of these are just outdated language, changes that our DOJ has made, or address changes.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt these proposed rules?
I move that we adopt these proposed rules.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Katrina, thank you very much for all your hard work for us. We really appreciate it.
You are very welcome.
thank you.
We had a Kelly who was our AG back when I came on the commission.
Kelly Gablix.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm sorry I've been testy at sometimes, but I really appreciate your good work. You really helped.
Thank you, Chair Williamson. That means a lot.
The next item on our agenda is public comment. Yes.
Leah.
Yeah.
Yes, Leah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm an old man. I forget things.
That's all right. That name, for some reason, that name all my life has been difficult to remember. The reason that I wanted to bring this issue before the commission, I'm not actually sure that you guys really have a decision to make, but as most of you, except maybe Margaret, remember that we put a group together and we called it FROG. It stood for Future of Racing in Oregon Group. And those initials spell frog. And so we were the FROG group. And it was made up of all of the county fair meet managers, the HBPA, the OTOBA, OQHRA, and I think we also had some representatives from the ADWs. I know Randy Bodine was always a part of that. In fact, he's the president of the organization, but I am the treasurer, and so I keep track of any money that we have. And what I've discovered is that our account is now, let me back up just a minute. Everyone, all of the organizations paid a fee to belong to this group. So we did have some money, and we did do things during the Portland Meadows days. And but since the pandemic, we have not gotten together at all. And we have less than $1,000. It's somewhere in the $700 to $800 range now. And because we're under $1,000 in our checking account, we are getting fees taken out every month. And so it seems to me that since we have our summer fair, the group that we're calling the summer fair meets, which includes all of the summer fairs and HRA, OTOBA, HPPA, and myself, and we're all meeting on a monthly basis. It's basically the same group. I would like to close the account at the bank, and we can take that money and I can put it in a jar and keep it here at my house until we find something that we want to spend it on. We just recently, just this month, we paid the corporate filing fee of $50 that we have to pay every year. I just did the 1090 or the 990N tax return that we have to do online every year. And so we could keep the organization, I guess, just close the bank account, and then we can leave it that way for the next year and decide if we want to continue it anymore. But at this point, to me, it just makes more sense to close the bank account and stop the fees being taken out.
Well, yeah, I think, I know Jan and I both were on there. Jan was chair of the FROG for years and did a lot of work. But I think we were told that we had to stay the heck out of the FROG. Otherwise, it was a public meeting and we couldn't spend money in it. I mean, it was public money, and we'd have to have notices. And so I think if you just get because I think the commission was told we have to stay off of it. And so I think if you just get the members to approve whatever it is, I don't think we have any say in what you do with that money. Is that true, Katrina? Okay.
I would have to see the recent documents, but that's definitely sounds like it from what Leah described in terms of their filings with the Secretary of State and other things. It sounds like it's an independent group as opposed to a subcommittee of the commission. So unless the monies originally came from the commission, then they would be funds of a private group. So that would be the only question where that money originated from.
I don't believe that there was any money from the commission. Randy, do you remember I don't think there was anything from the commission. I think it was just all from the, or
No.
Jan, do you remember?
No commission money involved here. It was originally when we started, every organization that was represented, I believe, was asked to put $300 in the kitty. And then it goes like a yearly thing that they did. So that came from 3 ADWs, the horse associations, and Portland Meadows, and the fairs. And so that
Well,
was
yeah,
that was where the money came from. None of it ever came from the commission.
Actually, that's wrong, Randy. The commission did contribute, just like all the other members in the beginning. But we haven't done that for several years now.
Yeah, we have
right. I
permission
think
for
the
several years.
commission
that we
did
did.
once.
Unless somebody wants to make a motion to do something, I think we should do nothing.
I think it's better if you don't make a motion. It sounds like even if the commission originally contributed funds, those are probably not the funds that are left in the kitty.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I would say that this is up to the private organization and its members, how it handles it, and it's not something the commission should vote on.
Okay, is there any
Okay.
other public comment? There's no contested cases. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 23rd in Grants Pass, so we'll have no May meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct. After June, we'll be having meetings every month throughout the racing session.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm sorry, Margaret.
Can I ask one question? And this is just a
Sure.
technical question. I could probably do it offline. But for the Grants Pass meeting, do you want us to personally make hotel reservations?
You can either personally make them, or you can contact Malia and she'll make them for you. If that
Okay.
works better.
Thank you
There
very
is,
much.
Just
there
make
is
sure. you-
one, I think there's one place though that we use, that's would be a good place for if people want it to be together in the same.
Yeah.
But is it the, do you know, Connie, which place it is?
Yeah, Malia sent something out.
Okay, good.
It's a Holiday Inn, is that what it is?
The Hampton.
Hampton.
Hampton, yeah, that's
Starts
it's
with the H, they're all the same.
a nice
And if
place.
you could just let Kelly know. Sorry, if you could just let Kelly know how you would like her to attend that meeting, if you require attendance, whether there'll be facility for her to be online or if she needs to be there in person, that would be really helpful.
I
That'd be
think,
great. We would love to have her in person. However, if we have to pay for all her time down there, it would probably be best if we had her online under the circumstances.
I think online is
Understood.
fine. Online is fine. Okay, is any further discussion or matters to come before the commission?
Sure, Williamson, real quick, I think we need to, I don't know if we need to do a small amendment to the next commission meeting. I think I heard we were going to start at 2:30, not 1:30. So I just
Oh,
want
yes,
the minutes to reflect that we're meeting at 2:30 on June 23rd.
thank you. That is correct.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
Can
to
we
adjourn?
also, I'm sorry. That's-
Go ahead. Connie?
Should we also add that we will have a retreat the next morning to be determined?
Yeah, we don't want to have one. We can always cancel it, right?
Can always cancel it.
Yeah, okay. So let's have one. All right. If there's nothing further, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second,
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
hi.
Those no. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome,
you.
Chair Williamson. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Katrina, for all your